Okay, tuning. So, step one. I like having my bike off the ground, but that's up to you. So we're gonna choose the mode we want. I'm just making sure it's holding the camera right. Okay, mode 2. We're gonna tune mode 2. Okay, so we'll start the beta app. The bike will show up. We'll go ahead and click it. Connected. Okay, now we'll click settings down on the bottom right corner. And then we're going to go start with set parameters. You would enter all your information here. Since both batteries right now are at 13S, or charged to 13S, both of them, we're going to go series cell count 13. And I had to set it on 910 so the wheel was not moving. Full throttle threshold, millivolts. The throttles are e-bike throttles are usually based on a 1 to 5 volts. Full throttle, they say it's at 41, and fault throttle is at 45. So we're gonna go ahead and bump that up just a little bit more. We're gonna put fault throttle at 4900 millivolts, which would be 4.9 volts. And we'll do the full throttle at 4700. You can do this based upon your battery or your liking. You can also do it based upon the CYC PDF for the beta app user manual. Number of poles and wheel 2. PAS poles is 36. Wheel diameter for my bike is 699. Low voltage is 46 for 13S. High voltage cutoff 53 for 13S. Threshold temp 90 degrees Celsius. Max temp 100 degrees Celsius. Motor direction 0 is forward, 1 is reverse. Display unit 0 is kilometers an hour, 2 is miles per hour. PAS start RPM. It says 1500, but we can start that a little bit lower. That way it kicks in faster. The higher the RPM, the longer it's going to take for it to kick in. So we're going to go ahead and put mine at 250. Motor cadence, it says motor cadence versus RPM cadence, or R cadence RPM. I believe that's a 1 to whatever ratio, or whatever to 1 ratio. It says stock is at 37. I'm going to bump mine up to 45. Click done. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click set in the red. I'm going to go ahead and start with the bottom one and work my way to the top. Oh, it says Bluetooth not connected. That's what I hate about this sometimes. Let me just go ahead and jump through this real quick. Okay, jump through that real quick. Okay, so still on mode 2 on my display. Now we're going to go to set presets. That's what comes up, okay? So right now I have max gear number 5. I'm going to click the PAS on. I'll put my speed limit 100 kilometers an hour. I doubt I'll ever reach that. We'll make sure I'm in preset 2. Change the throttle mode to speed. And just go ahead and leave it on current gear for the moment at the top right corner. PAS start RPM. We're going to go ahead and put that lower. They're both on for preset 1 on the beta app user manual. It says 10. This would be like your full power settings, but we're going to put this one down to 7 and this one down to 10. PAS start power, that's in the initial power that it comes on when you first. I've done 3,000 watts, it's jumpy at 3,000. So 1,500 is a good number. I'm going to go ahead and do 1,800. Max motor RPM. First batch motor comes in at 12,000 RPM. I'm just going to go ahead and set this at 10,000. PAS power factor. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 10. Stock number would be a 3 or 4. Power limit 3,500 watts. Phase current stock says 70. CYC says max is 90. Throttle start speed 0 because we want to start. We don't have to move 1 mile an hour before the throttle be able to press the throttle. We want to start at 0 miles an hour with throttle. So throttle start speed 0. Now, for people who have done the voltage calibration and that firmware update, this is where you would enter the numbers. It would be different for everybody else for these first two numbers right here. So if you've done the voltage calibration and the update, or the voltage fix and the firmware upgrade, this is where you would put in your numbers. So you would put in 0 here and 0 here. Now for anybody who's just got their system or whatever and is just tuning it right off the get-go, this number that's blinking right there, that would be 10,000. This number right here for the throttle ramp up threshold would be 5,000. The rest of the numbers go accordingly. 8,000 and 10,000. Throttle auto cruise 0. Cruise hold range 480. And then we're going to click all set above. Start from the bottom, work my way up. Set 0 mode failed. Try this at 95. Bluetooth not connected. Kind of figured this would do this when I was recording. Okay. Now, after you set all of your things in, now we can go ahead and go to gear settings. Since I'm basically tuning this to preset 1 at the sum of the stock settings, we're going to go ahead and click gear settings. Okay. And we'll click start with. I kind of like to work my way backwards instead of forward. Most people would start at 1. I'm going to go ahead and start at 5. Okay. And this one, 5 is going to be full. These values are based on a 1 to 100 scale, as in percentages. Like 99 would be 99%, 78 would be 78%. Okay. Now after you enter your numbers, click settings, success. Go back, go to your next gear. And enter your numbers. Okay, now that those are set, the 1 through 5, I believe actually add in an extra on gear 0 here. Yep, gear 0, we'll do RPM. %. Power, let's go ahead and give that 25%. Current, let's go ahead and give that 10%. Speed, give that 10%. Assist start power. Let's put that at 5. Assist power factor 100. 0. Okay. I set 0 up like that for a walking mode. Okay, now here comes the fun stuff. We are going to go ahead and enter all of the auto gear settings. So, start with gear 0 and go to your beta app, user manual, and pull up the figure and look at your figures here and enter them all. So we got 45. Oh, that's right. I wanted to up the RPM limit on everything. So I think the first number on all these is going to be 100 for the RPM. So, and then we'll just limit everything else. 25, 100. Gear 1. CYC here. Okay, I'll have to jump up to 80 on that one anyway. No, I'm not going all the way up to 17. But yes, you can enter all the way up to 17 on your auto gear for it with all the factory numbers. I'm just modifying a little bit, so it's the way I like it. But after you enter all your auto gear settings, all of your gear settings, all of your auto gear settings, you can go ahead and put your bike on the ground, click reset, and then click gyroscope, and then click reset, and that resets your gyroscope. And after that, you just exit the program. Game mode 2, 5 different levels, 4 different levels. Well, 6, 0 is the walking mode. I'm not getting nothing on 0. It's okay. Go ahead and turn the bike off for a second. Turn it back on. Make sure we're mode 2, throttle. Yep. Okay. Pedal. Now let's go ahead and check the auto. Go ahead and see if walking mode works or not. Too low of power. That one I might need to adjust. But 1. Well, it's reading 9 instead of 99. I still have to figure out the display update, but that's how you tune. So each gear electronically. And you can set them up if you wanted to go. So, say first gear is spinning at, say first gear was spinning at 40 or 4,000 RPM. Then say you wanted to go to third, but you wanted the RPMs to drop. You could down to, 1,000. You can set that up based upon the values that are the 1 to 100%. These values right here. So we'll go into, let's auto gear. Here's your gear settings. So these are the 1 to 100% values. And you can go in and change these accordingly to how you like it. You can leave your presets alone and just go and play in with your gear settings. So, you can put all this to full and have the RPM limit set to 50. And then the next gear you can have it all full, but the RPM limit set to 35. Drop it down. The higher the number of the gear, the slower you go. Or you can do the opposite way, like in a regular, shifting car. The further you go up in the numbers, the faster you go. That's how it's set up here. So, that's just the easiest way to do it, is to have them staggered. So, weaker power, more power, more power. Weak power, more power, more power, more power, most power. That's typically how you're going to have it tuned and set. But you can adjust each one of these here. So how much start power, how much do you want it to give, how much assist power factor when you're like pedaling, how much do you want to limit that, to 50%. You can limit that to 50%. You can limit your speed. You can limit it by the speed, by your speed limit. 10 miles an hour. You can each different gear has, so if you're like, okay, I'm in 4th gear on my bike, power mode 5, I know I'm doing 35. Whatever the case may be. But as far as tuning, make sure you're in the mode that you're need to be on when you're tuning. Mode 2. It'll show up as preset. Okay. Just a couple little name changes. No big deal. Something to get used to for the moment. But go ahead and change to mode 3. Still have to see if I have everything. Yep. Mode 1 should have no pedal assist at all. Yep. There we go. Okay. I hope that shows you how to go through it. Sorry that, I had some trouble myself with Bluetooth disconnecting because I'm recording at the same time.